Hello, Globals. It's Coach Belly here. And today I'm going to share the 3 keys for the ideal leader. And today's seminar, this is one of my monthly online seminars that I provide live. And today I'm going to actually share information because my online live seminars, I do record most of the sessions, but I do keep some of the coaching, the live coaching separate because I want to respect the privacy of my attendees. So I want to post at least the information, the training that you can actually benefit from. So today I'm going to cover the 3 keys for the ideal leader. And in those keys, there's 4 things that I always like to start with. I never just get into the 3 keys. I like to always explain, well, what is an ideal leader? Number one, so it's important that we understand what the common definition is and why we admire leaders, the importance of an ideal leader vision, and the 3 keys for the ideal leader. So we'll get into that eventually. And there's going to be a little bit of an exercise. So there'll be a point where you can pause this video so that you can actually do one of the coaching exercises that's very beneficial that help you on your way to become a better version of yourself as a leader. So what is an ideal leader? Well, there's not one definition. And the very first thing that I want to explain is that you don't want to idealize a person. So never put somebody on a pedestal that they can fall off because there's nobody that's perfect. So understand that anyone can lead. It's not just you being a manager or a CEO of a company that makes you this leader, but you as an individual, you can be a leader of your teams, your peers, your community, your friends. Anybody can lead. And the definition of a leader will change. So the qualities that are required will change based on the situation and the environment that you are in. So where one leader may be very successful in one area, that same leader may not do very great in a different area. So it's so important that you understand the environment that you're in to become the ideal version of yourself in that environment. The next piece, an ideal leader has a very clear vision. If you as an individual don't have a clear vision of who you are, where you're going, what objectives you have, no one's going to follow that. You're not going to get anywhere. So it's really important, ideally, as a leader, that you understand you have a clear vision of what that is. Also, a really important part of a leader is that they're able to inspire others around their vision. So they're not dictating, they're not demanding things, but they have a way to motivate people to understand what the vision is and get them to rally behind it. That is an ideal leader. So a question that I want you to think about out there in the audience is describe a leader you admire and why. So think about what are all the different qualities, the skills, both technical skills, interpersonal skills, how are they as individuals? Are they emotionally intelligent? Do they care? Are they trusting? Think about that leader. And the reason why I want to pose this question out there is that if you're clear about who you admire as a leader and you understand what those qualities are, then you can start to really think about, I need to maybe start working on those specific skills as well, because those are skills and qualities that I admire. I may not admire every single thing about that leader, but these are the things that really call me, and these are the things that I would like to really incorporate into my own leadership style. So take some time to write down who are the people that you admire as leaders and the reasons why. Like, what are those qualities that really drive you? So speaking of admiring leaders, why do we admire leaders? So there are good leaders and there's bad leaders. And unfortunately, there are people that will emulate and admire those that are terrible leaders for whatever reason. And there's also obviously amazing leaders as well. We admire leaders because we have a need for a higher purpose or cause. So we'll admire them, we follow them because we want to belong to whatever cause or vision they have. Maybe something that's very close to our hearts that we're passionate about. And there's also this need for security and safety. If we know our leader is confident, they're driving us in the direction that makes sense and that is going to actually help us be successful, then this is something that makes us feel safe and secure. I'm sure that I've been in situations where I've had a boss that did not have a clear direction of what we were doing. And I did not feel very secure about the outcome of the project we were working on because they weren't confident, they weren't clear. So that's something that it's really important that we have as a leader, is that we're able to provide that security and that safety for that individual. And safety and security is also around protecting your employees and the people that you lead from the harm that could come to them from making mistakes. So if you're able to support them and have their back and allow them to make small mistakes, that you have them like supported, they're more likely to continue to try different ideas. And so this is the key thing, is being able to give your employees, give the people that you lead, that safety and security, and that knowledge that no matter what you have, you're gonna provide them what they need, and provide them that security that is important for them. The last piece is we admire leaders because we want someone to emulate, someone that inspires us. I mean, I'm sure we have people that we follow on social media, or people that we read about, or books that we read. Maybe their biographies, or certain leaders out there that we really admire, and we aspire to be like them. So these are all the reasons why we admire leaders. So what's the importance of having an ideal leader vision? Like I mentioned earlier, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to end up anywhere. You may end up somewhere, but it may not be where you want. So having clarity on what an ideal concept is for you is important. And I capitalize the word you because it's not about the ideal concept for your neighbor or your coworker or your boss. It's ideal for you and your specific leadership position that you're in, the goal you're striving for, whatever that may be. It has to be ideal for you. And you want to also have in this vision specifics, the areas that you want to continue to develop and grow. So understanding yourself, what are the strengths that you have, and then what are the opportunities and weaknesses that you want to develop and grow into, because that's going to help you become a better leader. And the last piece is confidence. You need to have confidence as a leader, no matter what imperfections you may have, whatever gaps you may have. If you have this confidence and you know where you're going and you're going in that direction, people will follow that and they will support you around that. Bottom line, you need a vision to guide your leadership direction. And that's really what it boils down to. Without a vision, you're walking blindly, and that can actually get you to some very detrimental results. So let's now get into why we're all here. So the 3 keys for the ideal leader. And to begin with, well, first of all, there are many different things that I can give you tips on, things that I've learned in my leadership training and experiences. But if there's anything you can take away, 3 things. I don't want to give you too much, but 3 things. And even if you just take one thing, three things that you can take away from today that can help you become the ideal leader, the ideal version of yourself. So get out your pieces of paper, your notebooks, or your laptops, and make some notes here. So the first step is identify key leadership qualities. And what you want to do is you want to define the leadership qualities needed for your role or the goal that you're going after. So different roles will require different qualities and skills. And so being very clear about what specific goal you have, or what specific role you want to get promoted into, the specific role you're actually in. Be very clear about what those qualities. Is it communication? Is it technology? Is it research abilities? What are the specific qualities? Is it the interpersonal skills? What exactly are the qualities that you need to have to be successful in that specific role or that goal you're trying to accomplish? So this is where knowing your strength and your goal and the opportunities are important. Strengths, weakness, opportunities, very important to know what those are. And then you want to think about, well, what's your plan for addressing the gaps? And we're going to actually have a small exercise coming up after going over these steps to get you started on step number one. So you'll have an actual plan of action by the time you finish watching this video of how you can address the gaps and really develop your strengths even more by doing the coaching exercise that we'll do in just a few minutes. So this is step number one, identify key leadership qualities. Step number two is, this is actually my favorite one, to be honest, is because this is placing people where they shine. But what I mean by this is you as a leader, when you know your people that you lead, and you know their qualities, you know their skills, you know their strengths, you know their opportunities or weaknesses, you know all these things about them, you can start to place them in positions where they can show their talents or they can grow their talents. So maybe you give them one task that you know that they're very good at it, they're very happy and they're very motivated to do it, and then give them one, what we call a stretch opportunity, which is it's a task or a project or something that they're going to work on that's a little bit of a challenge, but you know that they're capable of growing into that. So you want to put them where they shine, and helping others develop and use those talents is one of the best ideal leadership qualities that you can have. So step number three, the third key is build your brand and legacy. And what's interesting is that the step three here is actually almost like a build-up from keys 1 and 2. And basically is you're building your brand and legacy because you're helping develop others and you're actually knowing what you're good at and what you need to grow into. And then you're going to go into, all right, how do I do that even more so? How do I build that around the organization that I work at or my community or even in my home? So maybe you're not working in a company, maybe you're having your own business. Perhaps you're doing something just within your own family. So think about, one, don't be the single point of failure. So if you were to go on vacation, will the whole place fall apart and you come back and no one's done anything? Or if you decide all of a sudden you win the lottery and you're like, I'm not coming back, I'm out of here. Or you retire, right? Or you decide to move on to another company or to do something different. You don't want to leave the place a disaster, and you don't want to. You want to be able to leave the place better than how you left it. I'm sorry. You want to like be able to leave the place better than when you got there. That's what I meant to say. So make sure you're not the single point of failure. So make sure you include others for growth opportunities. Share your knowledge, prepare others for leadership. So being able to find opportunities where you can have people tag along. So if you're going to a specific meeting, do a specific project, there's a specific task that you know you can do, but you know there's somebody on your team that could probably do it or can benefit from learning how to do it, let them do it. Grow, help them grow, help them shine. And this is how you build your brand and legacy. You would be known for you'll be known for being the leader that inspires and develops others. And that is ideal for any leader. So now we're going to get into the coaching exercise, which is going to really focus on the first key, which is identifying your skills, your ideal leadership qualities. And I have the leadership wheel here, as you can see, and it has several different categories that you can select from. You can definitely change, add, delete, but basically it's just to give you a starting point of how to really dissect what does an ideal leader look like. So to begin with, go around the wheel and select, you can select them all if you have time, or at least pick 3 of them that really stand out to you. But what I do recommend is that you actually go around the entire wheel and rate yourself from 1 to 5 on each quality. So 1 to 5 meaning on 1 being I'm the worst at this, I really need to work on this a lot, and then 5 is like I'm amazing at this and I want to get even better at it, or I want to optimize it, or I'm good with it. So for each one, this is the first step, is to identify which ones would make you ideal leader. And then I want you to scale yourself on all of these. Then the next step is you're going to actually pick the one that either has the highest score, or the top 3 that have the highest score, or the one that really is the most critical one for you. So it may not have the highest score, but it may be one that you're like, no, I really want to work on this area. So let's pick one. Let's pick the time management and balance. I know we all have a lot going on, so this is a good one to select. So let's say you pick time management balance. What you want to do is just want to scale it. Let's just say, okay, I scale myself at a 3. I manage my time. We'll just do that. And then after that, you want to define, well, what does an ideal leader look like when they're managing their time well? So you want to write out what would that look like for you. And I emphasize you because you're not comparing it to somebody else, but for you to feel comfortable, for you to feel that you are at a 5 optimal, what would that look like? An easy way of doing that would be to actually make bullets of skills. So time management, for example, being able to have time to eat healthy meals, time to work out, time to go to work, time to sleep, time to watch Netflix, time to read, time to be with my friends, time to do laundry, all these different things that are part of your managing your time. And then what you want to do is, when you have that list and it's very clearly defined, then you want to just circle kind of your top 3 on that list. Then once you have identified those top 3 on that list, then at least pick one and start from the first one and ask yourself, okay, let's say we pick the one of eating healthy meals. So I want to make sure I have time to make and eat healthy meals. So what are 3 things that I can do to develop that? Or one thing? Well, I could meal prep. Okay, and then let's say, okay, well, then you want to get more specific. Well, okay, I would ideally want to meal prep 5 times a week. Okay, but realistically, I'm probably going to do it 3 times a week. Okay, so now we're getting down to more narrow. So, okay, now I can actually say, okay, 3 times a week, I'm going to meal prep. And then, okay, well, how would I make that happen? How could I really actually successfully meal prep? And then you start to write down the things on how you can best meal prep. Okay, go to the store on these days, buy these types of foods that are easy to make, or whatever it may be. So I just wanted to give you an example of how to walk through this exercise is by being able to pick at least one, but make sure that you go through all of them to scale yourself on where you are. Pick your top one, figure out how you want to define it. What are the skills that, lets you know this is what success looks like, and then build your plan around that. And that's the way you can actually make progress in becoming the kind of leader that you want to become. So what did we learn today? So we learned that what is an ideal leader? So really basically that as an ideal leader, we need to have a very clear vision of where we want to go in life, what direction we want to lead our people and those around us. And we understood a little bit about why we admire leaders, and in that admiration, we discover that in the leaders that we admire, there are certain qualities that maybe we want to emulate, that we aspire to be like them. And then finally, we talked about the 3 keys for the ideal leader. Identifying, what are our qualities, what are our skills, and how do we bridge the gap in the areas that we need to work on. And secondly, being able to have people that are around us and help develop them so that they can shine in their skills and their talents and help them grow where they need to grow. And then last but not least, build your brand and your legacy. Don't be that point of failure. Be able to share with others what your knowledge is so that they could also lead empowered. So think about what are your takeaways for today and any questions that you may have. If you have questions, please find me on social media or type your comments below here on YouTube of what are your takeaways from today's online session. What are your questions? What are some topics that you want me to actually further expand upon that I didn't cover today? And I would love to hear from you. And then last but not least, I want to share with you that today is actually the last day to sign up for my Create Your Life and Leadership Vision program. It's getting to the core of what you want. The program starts next week on the 5th of April. So sign up by today. You can send me an email. And the benefits of this program is really ties into today's topic of being the ideal leader, is being able to develop that leadership and life vision for yourself. And we walk through ways of getting clarity around that and actually setting up goals and learn how to break through barriers so that we can get to the ideal state as leaders. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to find me here on YouTube and subscribe if you haven't done so. Last but not least, I want to leave you with this: be an empowered leader. And the way that you can do that is to remember that success is a mindset. The way you think is the way that it'll lead you towards your success. 2, your perspective defines you. So how you see the world is how you're going to be. And 3, embrace change, embrace growth. So understand that life is full of surprises and changes. So embrace it and grow from it. And last but not least, choose to be a conscious leader. Don't lead by default. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you soon. Take care and have a good night.